Now, how old should you have to be to have a vote? Well, the Green Party have launched their campaign ahead of the general election. One of the policies it's proud to campaign on is voting age. It believes, with all the huge issues there are out there, like Brexit, the state of the environment, the NHS, the younger generation, it's only fair they have their say. Currently, you can only vote if you're 18. The Greens want it lowered to 16. The Scots allowed it in the Scottish referendum, so why not in a general election? Well, many of you have been getting in touch this morning. Lindsay says, why would we give 16-year-olds the vote? They're more interested in music, exams, clothes and technology. If you could vote by texting, it might work. Well, maybe we should be able to vote by texting. Justin says, vote at 16. Most of them struggle to get out of bed. Pat Patterson says, no. And Eddie Woodward says, votes for 16-year-olds. Their political knowledge is anything like their musical taste. We're all doomed. Well, let's speak to Stuart Tuckwood. He's the Green Party parliamentary candidate for Cambridge. Morning, Stuart.
Good morning.
You've got a bit of convincing to do here.
Well, I don't think so. I think if you just play back the interview that you did earlier on with Aisha, the youth MP you have for Peterborough, then I think she'll make a far more eloquent case of it than I can, as someone who's quite a bit older than her. I think if she was allowed to run, she'd give your current MP in Peterborough a good run for his money. So I dare anyone to listen back to that interview and tell me that young people the age of 16, 17 aren't eloquent enough or intelligent enough to vote.
Yeah, but is she representative of all 16-year-olds, or is she just the diamond in the rough?
Well, I was in Scotland during just in the period of time running up to the referendum back in 2014, when 16 and 17-year-olds were allowed to vote, and I met many young people who were thinking about that issue carefully, who weighed it up, made a sensible decision, one way or the other. And there was no evidence that young people were using their vote irresponsibly. And in fact, there's many older people who maybe don't think as carefully about using their vote. So I think to patronise young people and say that the whole load of them 16, 17-year-olds aren't able to use their vote intelligently is nonsense, to be fair.
Yeah, but I mean, kids do stupid things, don't they? We've all done them. We've all been 16. We've all done stupid things. True.
My adult life as well.
But I think back to my 16-year-old self. I didn't know what I wanted to do. All I was interested in was chasing girls around. Should I have been voting on very serious issues for the country?
Well, I'll tell you about a young person that I knew when I was working in Glasgow as a youth worker with young vulnerable people, young adults. And there was a 16-year-old, I think he was, that I was working with, who, he had direct life experience of poverty, of the changes to the welfare state that the Tory government had been making. He was massively concerned about his ability to go to university and study, given the fact that he's probably going to be burdened with a life, with a lot of student debt if things continue the way they are. And, I have people coming on and saying that young people don't have any life experience. This young person had loads of life experience, was massively affected by the way government have been making decisions in recent years. And, he was perfectly entitled to have a say over his future. And I think many other, all other 16, 17-year-olds are entitled to do so as well.
Yeah, this from Ricky. It says, when I was that age, it was about getting a job. Maybe if you're pampered when you're growing up, you could focus on bigger issues, but the majority have more pressing matters to worry about when they're 16 or 17. And that's a viewpoint that's shared by most of our listeners this morning. The majority are against this.
I think when you take it to the country, I think a lot of people actually, when they think about it, will be a lot more in favour of it. As you've said there, they've got pressing issues to worry about, but they've got very pressing issues to worry about because of decisions that the government are taking. Recent governments have taken decisions to land students with, like I say, a lifelong burden of debt. They're making decisions about taking us out of the European Union. And quite fundamentally as well, they're not taking the urgent action that we need to address climate change in the near future. And that threatens the very future of the planet and, the lives that young people want to lead in years to come. So I think it's absolutely right to say, yeah, they've got pressing issues, but they need to have a vote to have an influence over those issues.
Graham says, no, let children be children. Eddie says, I watched that woman from the Green Party yesterday. Personally, I thought her comments about older people were disrespectful, if not offensive, and very arrogant.
Well, no one's. I don't know quite exactly what was said, but I have no disrespect at all for older voters. But I just think that everyone's entitled to have a say over the important decisions facing the country.
This was Molly Scott Cato, wasn't it? Your candidate in Bristol West.
In Bristol West, yeah. But crucially, I think what we need to think about as well is about using this as a way of increasing citizenship. And I mean, lots of people, I'm sure, people who are texting in like to say that young people aren't interested in politics, aren't interested in these bigger issues, but it was shown in Scotland that this is a really, really good way of getting young people interested and excited about politics. After the referendum in Scotland, about a quarter of 16 and 17-year-olds in the country joined a political party and got engaged and got interested. If we're serious about getting young people to take these issues seriously and pay attention to them, then what better way than asking them, giving them the responsibility casting a vote in the upcoming election.
A lot of people are saying it's always fringe parties that go for this because they're desperate to boost their membership.
I wouldn't say that. I think we're making a very principled case for why young people are entitled to have a say over their future. It's nothing about chasing votes. I don't think there was any evidence in Scotland that the 16 or 17-year-olds voted too much differently from other age groups, but they're definitely entitled to have their say.
Yeah, is it a pressing issue though, really? I mean, aren't there bigger fish to fry in Cambridge?
Yes, but there are big issues, of course. Yeah, you invited me on to talk about this one, but I'm happy to stay and talk about all the other big issues that we're campaigning on as well, if you like.
Yeah, I just wonder whether the Greens are going to, you'd rather be talking about a bigger issue than voting age, or is that the biggest thing on your agenda at the moment?
No, it's certainly not. I mean, climate change, Brexit, tuition fees, the state of the NHS, these are all huge issues that we'll be campaigning on over the next 7 or 8 weeks. But as I keep saying, these are big issues that affect the future of young people, and they're entitled to have a say over these as well.
Well, that's Stuart Tuckwood. He's the Green Party parliamentary candidate for Cambridge. He thinks young people are entitled to have their say. If they can go to war, if they can get married and pay their taxes, they should have a voice in the future of this country. He's right, isn't he? 03459 25 2000 81333 on text. Get in touch.